Amen.
You're going to give 2 minutes?
Yeah. We'll take a moment to take a talis and tefillin. If you didn't say Shir Shal Yom at the beginning of Mincha, you should say it now. What do I say? Front sound. This morning in the Kinos, we spoke about Rabbi Yishmael, the great Rabbi Yishmael, Kohen Gadol. Rabbi Yishmael went up to Shemayim to ask Hashem, if this is a Gzeira min Shemayim, is this the way that it has to be? Rabbi Yishmael hears back, Kabalu aleichem tzadikim v'yedidim, accept this upon yourself. But this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu has decreed. The Gemara in Brachos tells us another story about Rabbi Shmuel. The Gemara in Brachos tells us that Rabbi Shmuel once he went into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Hamachas nichnasti laktir kedaris livnai v'lifnim. Once I went into the Kodesh HaKadoshim to offer the Kedaris Yom Kippur. V'ra'isi akashikel ka'ashem tzavaka shu yoshev al kisei ram v'nisa. And I saw this vision of the Ribbon Shalom. That's not a time for Talmud Torah, but Chasam Sofer says a lot about what the name Akashrikel means. Lashon Keser, crown. Va'amar li Yishmael b'ni barcheni. The Ribbon Shalom says, Yishmael b'ni barcheni. Yishmael, my son, please give me a bracha. And this, the Gemara in Bracha says, is the makar, the source for how we know that the Ribbon Shalom davens. Yishmael b'ni barcheni. So Rabbi Yishmael Kohen Gadol says, Amarti lo yasetim yirasa milfanecha. Should be your will. Sheyich b'shurach hamecha es kascha. That your mercy should overcome your judgment. Vayakol rachamecha al midosecha. That mercy should overwhelm the midas hadin. V'tisnoig banecha, and you should behave towards your children livnim mishuras hadin, beyond the letter of the law. When Avram Fried turned it into a song, the end, the crescendo, V'nena li b'roshai. V'nena li b'roshai. What does it mean, V'nena li b'roshai? V'nena li b'roshai. Nodded his head, right? That's how Rashi says. Nodded his head. Says Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshitz in the Chidushei, Rabbeinu Yehonasan and Mesechus Brachos, Tavzayin Am Dalef, V'nena li b'roshai, he says that's the correct nusach. Kadosh Baruch Hu was mena'aneh with his head. He says they are incorrect nuschos. That say v'hirchin li b'roshai, that he nodded his head. Says Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshitz, V'nena li b'roshai means he shook his head. I said, Ribbon Shalom, have mercy on your children. I said, Ribbon Shalom, don't destroy the Beis Hamikdash. I said, Ribbon Shalom, that your mercy should overcome your midas hadin. V'nena li b'roshai, and he shook his head. He said no. Says Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshitz, these two stories are the same. Rabbi Shmuel Kohen Gadol is asking Ribbon Shalom, do they have to be Asara Harugim Malchus? Do you have to destroy the Beis Hamikdash? Is there any way that you could have mercy on your children? And Ribbon Shalom said no. Kablu aleichem tzadikim v'yedidim, it's over. It's over. The Gemara in Bava Metzia tells us that Yerushalayim was destroyed because the Jewish people didn't live lifnim mishuras hadin. So we didn't live in a world of lifnim mishuras hadin, beyond the letter of the law. Which is a bizarre thing to say, because quite literally lifnim mishuras hadin means that which the halacha doesn't prescribe. You're not obligated to keep this thing. It's lifnim mishuras hadin. There's certain behaviors that we have that are lifnim mishuras hadin. Says the Ein Yaakov, yeah, that's true. But there's two ways of living life. There's a way of living life that is transactional. That's called midas hadin. Midas Hadin means a life of transactions. I do things for you, you do things for me. We keep a tally. Keep a tally. I explained this to one of my Talmidim a couple months back. It's towards the end of the year. You know, kids at the end of the year, they get a little bit restless. Sitting in class for a long time is hard. No amount of shtick that Rabbanim do, no amount of shtick is going to keep a kid from that drive to escape the classroom. By the time, Shavuos is a week away, it's hard. It's hard. She had a couple of kids that were messing around in Shir. And I called out one of those kids. Called him out. I said, it's not nice. So after Shir, he came up to me and he was very upset with me. He's upset with me. Not because he held that he was doing the right thing. He knew that he was doing the wrong thing. He was upset with me that I yelled at him and I didn't yell at the other kid. Rabbi, you have to be even. He said, why are you picking on me? I said, I'm not picking on you. I'm not picking on you. But everything in life works on credit and debt. You take a lot of energy out of the shir sometimes. So does your friend. But sometimes he puts it back as well. Sometimes he also contributes to shir. He also raises his hand and adds in something geschmack into the shir. He asks a good question, he gives a good answer. But the only time that I call on you is when you're yelling. So your credit in shir is very low. You have a lot of shir debt. You don't have shir credit. Your friend he's got an empty bank account, but at least he's not in debt. Takes in, he puts some in, he takes some out. That's called Midas Hadin. Midas Hadin is that you put in, you take out. We have this in marriage. You put things in, you take things out. I woke up to change the baby last time. I took out the trash last time. Right? Whatever it is. We keep tallies, we keep scores. It's a fine way to live. Credit and debt. It's called din. That's the rules. Lifnim Mishuras Hadin is when that goes out the window. Well, I'm not keeping score by you anymore. It doesn't make a difference how many times you hurt me or how many times I took out the trash or how many times I changed the baby. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. It's Lifnim Mishuras Hadin. It's out of the rules, out of the rubric of din. And there are two ways of living life. You can live life in accordance with Midas Hadin, or you can live life Lifnim Mishuras Hadin. Chazal tell us that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed because the Jewish people didn't live Lifnim Mishuras Hadin. That we didn't act in this way of generosity, of kindness, of not keeping score with each other. Why? Why was this the reason that the Mikdash was destroyed? Because when the Rebbeinu Shalom did the accounting, it didn't add up. Al pi din, we had too much debt for the Beis Hamikdash to continue. So the only hope left then is lifnim Meshuras Hadin. Is that the Rebbeinu Shalom should act towards us without worrying about the calculations, without the cheshbon, without the you gave and I gave and a little bit here and a little bit there. Lifnim Meshuras Hadin. But the Rebbeinu Shalom then looked at us and said, Chavra, how's your lifnim Meshuras Hadin looking? Rabbi Shmuel Kohen Gadol says, "V'tikanes lahem lifnim Meshuras Hadin." Maybe you'll act towards us. Shloikim in this adin. You'll act towards us lifnim Meshuras Hadin, beyond the letter of the law, where you're not going to care about all of the averos and all of the faults and all the flaws and all the problems, all the failures and all of the issues in the lashon hara and the avodah zarah and gila rais and shvichas damim and sinas. You're not going to look at all of those things. Maybe you'll be lifnim Meshuras Hadin. You'll say, "I love you. Don't worry about it." And the Rebbeinu Shalom goes, "I'd love to do that, but I don't see anybody else living lifnim Meshuras Hadin. If you want me to be lifnim Meshuras Hadin by you, you need to be lifnim Meshuras Hadin by other people. Choose the way that you want the Rebbeinu Shalom to treat the world. Al pi midas hadin, you're welcome to it, but then you have to live up to that. Lifnim Meshuras Hadin, you're welcome to that too, but then you have to live up to that as well. Those are the options. V'nen ali b'rosh, and the Rebbeinu Shalom said, no, you have neither. The Meshech Chochmah points out it's a devastating Meshech Chochmah. Meshech Chochmah writes that, when it comes to the klal, when it comes to the totality of the Jewish people, the Rebbeinu Shalom can forgive everything. The only time that a group of Jews is attacked, is harmed, is because we're lacking in bein adam lechavera. Bein adam lemakom, between us and Hashem, that each person pays for privately. But that a klal should be harmed means that there's a lack of midos, there's a lack of avos yisrael. And that's been for the last 2,000 years. Because the moment that we act lifnim Meshuras Hadin, that we go beyond, that we extend ourselves, and we say, it's not about he said and she said. Do you know what that? Irrelevant, unimportant. Unless we're 100% sure that the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to treat us b'midas hadin, we best ensure that we're living lifnim Meshuras Hadin, going beyond. And so this evening, we said a part of the davening that only shows up in the Siddur, printed in every mincha for this moment. Every Siddur, mincha tam. Instead of the bracha v'Yerushalayim ercha baracham im tashuv, we say nache. Usually it's in the grey box, but in the Kinos book, that's the main text. Nachem Hashem Elokeinu v'esav le'Tzion v'esav le'Yerushalayim. Please Hashem provide comfort for the Av le'Tzion and the Av le'Yerushalayim. Rashi tells us in Chumash that nechama means changing your mind. I wrote about that in the weekly. We'll take a look there. The Malchus Shlomo Latwersky notes that the word Nachem means something else in Chumash. Those of you that remember the Tzeisim in Mitzrayim, when we came out of Mitzrayim, the Pasuk says, V'loi nacham Elokim derech eretz Plishtim. V'loi nacham Elokim. What does nacham mean? To lead us. V'loi nacham Elokim derech eretz Plishtim. He didn't lead us that way. Says the Malchus Shlomo, our tefillah at this time of Tisha B'Av, Nachem Hashem Elokeinu esav le'tzion esav le'Yerushalayim. Hashem, please lead us. We're done figuring this out ourselves. It hasn't worked. We wanted to live in a way that we earned everything, and that's how we lived. Midas Hadin. And we've failed. So, Ribbon Shalom, why don't you show us the way? Nachem Hashem Elokeinu esav le'tzion esav le'Yerushalayim. And then we quote, and then we daven and we say, Ribbon Shalom, Ki atah Hashem be'esh hitzasah. You, Ribbon Shalom, you burnt up the Mikdash, Yerushalayim, Tzion, with fire. Uve'esh atah ased livneisah, and with fire you will build it again. Ka'amur v'ani eyeh la na'um Hashem chaymas eish saviv. Says Hashem, I swear, I will be for it a fire, a wall of fire, firewall, not like the one in China, a real one. Chaymas eish saviv, v'lechvoid eyeh b'seicha, and for honor I will be inside of it. Rebbeinu Shalom says, I'll be a fire. Ki atah Hashem be'esh hitzasah. This is the makar for what Chazal tell us, that the Rebbeinu Shalom says that he will build the Beis Hamikdash. And we've learned this before, the machlokes between Rashi and the Rambam, it's machlokes Tanaim, machlokes of the Midrashim. Whether we're building the Mikdash or the Rebbeinu Shalom is building the Beis Hamikdash, whether we're building it brick by brick, or the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to bring it down in fire. And we've learned before the Aruch HaNer, in Sukkah, Memhei, the Aruch HaNer says that both of them are true. Obviously we will build Yerushalayim brick by brick. But the Rebbeinu Shalom will give it neshama b'sach haguf. The Rebbeinu Shalom will build it in fire. We will build the body, and the Rebbeinu Shalom will give it the soul. Ve'eish atah ased livnei, so the Rebbeinu Shalom will rebuild it with fire, the Yerushalayim Shemala that's still up in Shemayim, like we spoke about last Shabbos. That the tzaddikim are zeicha to see, that we should see this, a lebedik Yerushalayim. We should see this fire come down. Because, Chavra, I have a secret to tell you. In these last few moments before Mariv, the Rebbeinu Shalom decreed that Tisha B'Av, for all generations, should be about fire and tears. The question is, what fire and what tears? The Rebbeinu Shalom decreed that on Tisha B'Av, the Beis Hamikdash should be on fire. What fire? Which fire is the Beis Hamikdash going to burn with? Is it going to be the burning fire of the Romans? The burning fire of the Babylonians?
No.
Or maybe Va'esh Ata Asilif, they saw the burning fire of rebuilding. The fire inside of the heart and mind of every single Jew. The Mikdash is going to be on fire. Is it going to burn to the ground, or is it going to be on fire? Chavra. The Rebbeinu Shalom is looking at each and every one of us. He's saying, which fire do you want? You want a fire that's going to destroy, or a fire that's going to build? A fire that's going to be on fire for Torah and avodah and gemilas chasadim, a fire that's going to be on fire for other Jews. That fire is going to happen either way. And by the way, the Rebbeinu Shalom was kaver b'chiyah l'deres. There's going to be tears on the night of Tisha B'Av for all generations. There's tears of churban and there's tears of joy and tears of tshuva. And the Navi says that Tisha B'Av will be, the Tzemach Hamishi will be l'sosan and l'simcha. It will be days of joy. And the Chasam Sofer asked a tremendous kasha. He says, that's the reason that we don't say Tachnun on Tisha B'Av, because it's a Mayim. Because it's a Mayim. One day it's going to be a Yom Tov. So he asks an awesome kasha. He says, when Tisha B'Av is Nidche, when it's pushed up to Sunday, we should say Tachnun. It's a great kasha, no? We should say Tachnun. Why? Because Tisha B'Av is the Mayim. So when it's Nidche, we should say Tachnun. When it's pushed up to Sunday, we should say Tachnun. It's a tremendous kasha. As the fast is ending, we can say a little bit, shtickle on it. But he says Pshat. He says Pshat Chafra. Pshat is that when Mashiach comes, Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach, ASAP, which means now. When Mashiach comes, the Yom Tov of Tisha B'Av will be whenever Jews would have cried. He says when Mashiach comes, if Tisha B'Av falls out on a Shabbos, the Yom Tov will be Sunday. That's when the Yom Tov will be. Ronnie knows. Whenever the crying, whenever the fire was, whenever Jews were choking from the smoke, that's when we'll feel the warmth of the fire of the Ribono Shel Olam. The Eish Tukad B'Kirbi. Which is why our Masara is that we fast on Tisha B'Av, even though it was the beginning of the burning of the Beis HaMikdash. Because the beginning is the roughest. They set fire towards the end of Tisha B'Av. It's also why that it's at this moment, as the Beis HaMikdash begins to burn, Chazal tell us that Mashiach is born. It's the same fire. Because when the Romans walked into the Heichal, they walked into the Kodesh HaKodashim, they saw the Kruvim hugging each other. The Maggid of Medrash Chusay Yogan Al Kol, the Maggid said that the Kruvim were hugging each other, even though usually when Hashem is upset with the Jewish people, they turn away from each other. Said the Maggid, because the din is that when a husband leaves his wife for a long journey, he has to spend time with her beforehand. Has to spend time with us. So the Kruvim were embracing. Because the Rebbeinu Shalom says, we're going on a journey, but I want you to know that I love you. The Rebbe Elimelech of Vizhans Chusay Yogan Aleinu would say that from the moment of the Churban, the only thing that has burnt has been the love of Hashem for the Jewish people. The Churban took away all of the punishments. The Rebbeinu Shalom is just waiting for us to say, Tatu, we want to come home. Tatu, we want you back. We feel that fire. And all of the tzaras that have happened since, because we haven't picked up that fire. We're not paying for the Churban anymore. It's over. The fire that's left now is Nachem. Is Rebbeinu Shalom, please lead us once again. Please show us what it means to live Lifnim Mishras Adin. So that by the time in 7 weeks' time we stand in front of the Ribono Shel Olam, 7 weeks, and scream Hamelech. Please move from the Kisei Hadin to the Kisei Rachamim. The Rebbeinu Shalom will look at us and say, wow, you guys really know how to do it. You know what it looks like to live a world with Nimish Rasadin. Hashem should be Zechasem.